growing weary of running from room to room, practicing one-tooth insurance-driven dentistry? Then stay tuned for the latest episode of The Lionhearted, where Dr. Stephen Rasner will hand you the blueprint for what many call the gold standard of general practice dentistry.
Hi everyone, it's Dr. Steve Rasner and welcome back to The Lionhearted. It is the beginning of the summer here in New Jersey and it's a bit hot. If you're seeing me right now, which many of you don't do, I do have a black eye, and contrary to rumors, this eye was not given to me because somebody was disappointed in one of my podcasts. So I don't know how I got it. I woke up with a black eye, and just telling you that in case you're tuning in. So here's what I want to bring. I'm excited about a lot of things, and before I get to them, I want to tell you a few announcements. You know, again, if you're just tuning in for the first time or you've tuned in for many of the shows, you can reach me always, and it's my personal email. It's Dr. Dr. Rasner, R-A-S-N-E-R, at AOL.com. It's that simple. And you can also see where I'm speaking and what I'm up to and a lot of my ideas and upcoming courses that we're having either on the road or in the Philadelphia area at the RasnerInstitute.com. And so please reach out to me. And that's the first thing I want to bring up today. As you know, I've changed the format recently of this program to make it more user-friendly for you. I've made them 20 minutes or so instead of 30 or more on purpose so that you can pop me in on the way to the gym or pop me in on the way to work and pretty much get some one gem or a pearl out of this. So I hope, and it's easier for me, quite honestly, to do 20 minutes versus longer and keep them up to date and current, which I hope I'm doing for you. But the exciting thing for me is I'm hearing from more of you from not only the United States, but I mean, last week I got an email from Zaire and another email from a dentist in Ireland. And listen, man, if you've tuned in for the first time or you tune into 5 of these, you're going to see I don't change that much. I'm pretty much who you're seeing right now. And look, my goal is this. Here's the thing. I think I'm doing this to help a wide range of you get to a higher level in this profession that we both share. You know, just because you become a dentist, it's silly to think that we all have achieved the same level of success. And however you want to define success, and we've been over that on this podcast before, whether it's a good personal life, whether it's you feel good about yourself professionally, whatever your parameters are, I believe I can help you get there. And you also should know that I certainly don't think I'm anything special. I'm not quite sure, other than a never die, never quit attitude that I have and a relentless commitment to be better is really all I have. It's not that I was in the top 5 in my class or anything like that, because I wasn't. So that's my goal for doing this, to help you achieve. And, you know, we all have our dreams. That should be your dream, whether you're just starting out or you're 20 years into it. Maybe you've hit the wall. And my dream at this point is to be an influencer. And I practice full-time still. So I am very much in touch. I mean, I worked yesterday. No, I didn't. Yesterday was Friday. I worked this week. I'm working next week. And so I'm not in some ivory tower that I've been out of touch with what it's like, the highs and the lows of running a dental practice. I'm very in touch with both of those things. And, you know, if I am a voice in your ear at this point in your career, and, you know, many times you've heard me allude, I don't know whether Beth edited them out or not. Beth's my manager and editor of this program. I don't know if she's ever allowed it. I hope she allows this one. You know, I've contemplated not doing any more of these because I didn't know whether anybody's listening to them. But You know, in the last, since January of this year, I've been pretty busy, and especially busy in the last couple of weeks and months. I've been in Nebraska for 3 days with the AGD program down there. Tremendous amount of really cool, gifted dentists on the right road to success. And then in Arizona, a week after that, doing my first live surgery on the road. So I attained my license in Arizona for the purpose of letting my doctors bring in patients so that I can mentor them with live surgeries. And by the way, if you're interested in such a program in your own state, please reach out to me, my email, and I would forward it to Beth, and we'll see if we can put something together, especially if you're connected to a AGD or ADA format. I obtained my license there. We set up one of your doctor's offices to do the day of surgeries. And it has to be preceded also by some didactic as well. And by the way, the surgeries we did in Arizona were just strictly, they were implant, atraumatic extraction, and site development courses. And they had a couple of those prior to that live surgery. But I've been doing that stuff. And then yesterday, I hosted the icon, Dr. John Suzuki, who is the chairman of the FDA in America of all dental products, as well as a professor at multiple dental schools from University of Washington to Temple University in Philadelphia. He's a microbiologist. He's got more degrees than I can remember. And he did a course in my venue, near my venue in Vineland, New Jersey, on soft tissue grafting, meaning free gingival grafts. It was a hands-on course. It was pretty cool. And on connective tissue grafts. And so I'm telling you all of this because I've been so exposed to so many of you, and I'm kind of shocked at how many of the doctors I'm running into listen to this program and at least say they appreciate it. So it inspires me. And just like I want to inspire you by giving you some nugget each week that you actually go back and assimilate into your office, and then you see the positive result of listening that weekend and implementing that nugget. So that's why I'm doing this. And right when I was on the brink of maybe not doing any more on a Monday morning or whatever day of the week it was, I received an inspiring email from someone. And honestly, there's no other agenda that I'm doing this for. By the way, before I forget, it's almost out of time. I think I'm on June the 29th right now. And Frank Zastro, an oral surgeon from Germany, is coming over to the United States on the July 19th and 20th in my right next to my office in Vineland. And we are doing a 2-day hands-on course on pig jaws on Frank's amazing ability to augment bone vertically, horizontally with bone membranes taken from the ramus. So I know that's not for everybody, but it's pretty exciting for me. We have doctors coming as far away as Puerto Rico, which I find amazing. And that brings me to my last thing, and then I'll get to today's nuggets. And that is, I have a new thought, and if any of you are interested, please hit me with a little email. I'm thinking of taking the Rasner Institute on the road, which I haven't done in many, many years, in 2020. So I'm thinking of not having courses necessarily in New Jersey or Philadelphia area, but bringing them to Chicago or California or a multitude of places if there seems that there's an interest there. And it might be me and another speaker. And I won't, obviously, if you know me, it's not going to be just some random, whoever I can think of speaker. It would be somebody specific that I would like you to attain that kind of knowledge because I think it would help you the most. So, let me tell you what I'm thinking about for the next couple podcasts. And I think I might have alluded or even talked about some of these things earlier in my very early podcast, but I don't think you can ever hear them too often. The original article I wrote 15 years ago for Dentistry Today was called 8 Things I Would Do If I Started Over Next Monday. I don't know if you can find that article, but I have variations of it. Sometimes I call it 6 Things I Would Do, or even 5 Things I Would Do. And I've actually given presentations on that very subject. And it's directed towards either the young or new dentist, or the dentist that's hit the wall, that had killer success for 15, 20, 25 years, and he's not done yet, and things are not at the place that he or she wanted them. And so I went back over my career and thought about everything it was that I did that got me to where, and how would I do it differently? And that's what and I've done it on other podcasts for other podcasters in America. And I've done it I did it for Dental Town, for Howard Ferran. I did it for Peter Bolden in Atlanta, Gary Takis, just a lot. And so you're getting it firsthand from me, bits and pieces of it. Because here's what happens to me. Even at the courses recently, I'll meet seasoned dentists. I mean, not just guys that have been out for 3 years or 5. I'm talking about guys that have been out 25 and 30 years that really still give it all, man. They're taking courses. They're doing everything that they think they can do, but they still haven't achieved the highest levels of success that they wanted. And I don't mean that they're millionaires and they want to be multimillionaires. They're just not anywhere near their fulfillment. They're still working 5 days a week. Bills are too high and all these kinds. And it just makes me think I have to do a better job on what I'm trying to communicate. So that's going to be the context of the next couple of podcasts. And the protocols that I'm going to give you are some you've heard before, and maybe some that you haven't. And the first thing I'm going to tell you may not sound very profound or life-changing for you, but listen, I know this. If you're listening to me right now, you're in sports. In sports, we call amazing athletes who just practice. We call them ballers, especially basketball guys. Or no, it's any sport. That's what they're referred to. And that's kind of what you need to be in this arena. You just can never give up. You can never, if you want the highest level of success, unless somebody hands it to you, it takes a lot and 24/7 kind of to distinguish yourself from the other offices that the general public can go to. So, and the reason I'm saying that to you is it's easy to get lost in your life, your own personal life. It's easy to become a really clinically gifted dentist and have a divorce or not know your children and miss it. I kind of missed it, man. I don't need to get personal with you today, but a lot of what I tell you to do or not do is just raw honesty of mistakes I made. Think about it for a minute. Why would I be telling you these things? I've said it just on this podcast. I have no agenda except to help you. And it makes me feel good when I have influenced some of you that I'm just shocked that you are actually listening. So treatment plan your life also. Plan your life also. So what do I mean when I say that? I mean, the one thing you have to do really is you got to consistently look in the mirror. I mean, you just have to do this. There's no shortcut to this. And am I happy with the way I'm living my life? Am I fit? Should I be fitter? I'm not that fit right now. I used to be very fit. I'm not happy with that. I'm telling you straight up. I need to lose 15 pounds. Maybe more. Probably lying to myself. More. Not much more. Anyway, yeah. And I used to go to the gym all the time, and I'm really not doing it. And I don't love the gym, but I like being fit. So, you know, are you spending enough time with your significant other? You know, you can't just, you can do both is my point. You can become a great dentist. You can become financially, professionally fulfilled. And everybody that I know that really kills it in life professionally does both. They have a great marriage. They do stuff with their kids, and you do not want to miss that. You can't work every night till the kids are asleep and you come home and have a late dinner, have a drink, go to sleep, get up, go to work the next day. I know that is true of some of you listening. I did that. And you're not going to get back those days. And you can do both. It takes extra effort. It does. But you can't get lost in just becoming, this great dentist. So I'm telling you that one on purpose. Treatment plan your life and make sure you're happy. And make sure it's one thing to sit with your wife or husband or significant other and say, we should take a trip in 3-4 months, and then let that fade away. And then it's 3 or 4 months later, and then it's 3 or 4 years later, and you haven't done anything. It feels so good, whether it's professional or personal, when you move ideas into action. And that's what I'm asking you to do, no matter what else you do. I don't care if you get your mastership in some organization in the next 2 years. I'll be more impressed if you get your mastership and you tell me your personal life's pretty great too. So I think I've made that point pretty clear. Let's talk about things I know I've talked about before, but straight out of dental school or straight out of wherever you are right now, the philosophy is the same. I would discipline myself to do a number of things. One of the things I would do is I would take one CE course every quarter. So that's 4 a year. And then one continuum every year. Now, which ones you should take, you've heard me a million times on this podcast. I believe the triad of success, the shortest road to the other side that you want to get to is oral sedation, which requires you to contact. A lot of you write to me and say, what courses should I take? No, the answer is ask your state board of dentistry, what do you need, or whatever country you're in. Canada's different than Australia. What do you need to give more than one drug to achieve what most would consider be moderate sedation? So my drug cocktail is Benadryl, Atarax, and triazolam and nitrous. That's 4 drugs. You just can't give that in just about any states that I know of without having a permit. So it's easy. I just spent 12 hours last week in New Jersey renewing my permit, taking courses that I've taken many, many times. Well, that's what I have to do. And then the second triad would be, it's really 4. I always say it's 3, but it's 4. Atraumatic extractions and site development, which means how do you handle the socket left behind by the tooth you took out? You have to have both skills. And that is a several year project right there. Getting the permit you can get in 9 months. And then if you're going to learn all of that, for goodness sakes, in my world, you've heard me say it many times, I'm going to say it forever. And then you may also learn surgical and, of course, prosthetic implant dentistry. But there's other things, because I know that my job here is to appeal to the GPs out there listening. And, we don't have the luxury, most of us, of having an implant exclusive only practice. So there's a myriad of other skills. Yeah, this is a lot of work, man. But what else are you going to do? And let me make another point. If you're just in this for money, then you're in the wrong podcast. Because you can probably make a lot more money having multiple operations, and there are courses for that. How to acquire 5, 6, 7, 8 offices over the next 6 years and flip them to Wall Street and make a lot of money doing that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm for the guy that really wants to be really good at dentistry and make good living that way as well and feel fulfilled. Listen, I'm in this 39 years and I have my bad days. I do. And sometimes I'll look at work I did and say, holy crap, how did I do that? Where was I that day? Less than I used to by far. But I'll look at everything from sinus lifts to bone grafts to crown and bridge to root canals. I don't do many root canals. That's something I'm contemplating. I'll give you one more right now that I'm giving heavy thought to. This is the perfect protocol for you to follow. It's my protocol. I don't jump out. Like in the last year, I've really, the word LANAP, laser-assisted periodontal therapy, has really become a voice in my ear that I hear from very impressive clinicians. And to buy a laser with LANAP is like $125,000. That's a big investment, man. And I can afford to do that, but I really do diligence to things before I go after them at this stage. And you should too. You shouldn't just buy into a 3-year course on occlusion because you heard about it 3 weeks ago and it sounded great and the person that recommended it to you is very impressive. No, you got to think about your practice and how this would impact your practice. And so I'm doing a lot of diligence right now to, do I want to go in that direction? And probably am going to do that, as a matter of fact. So that would be a cool thing for you to look into too. Those of you that ask me, what should I take first? LNAP by Millennium, I believe, is the company. I have no association with them other than I inquired into this one time, so they might have my name. I don't even own one yet. But I'm giving you an example how I go through the process of what is it my practice is going to be well known for. And by the way, I know I've said it 100 times, but oral sedation doesn't really even have a learning curve attached to it. It's the only skill I can think of that is like that, So it really is you taking a series of courses designated by your particular state or country, and you get a permit. Because the first time, the pills that I recommend you give always work. I mean, they always work as long as you have the right candidate, and the right candidate with my protocol is probably 98% of the population, not 100%. I had a patient walk in this week, 22 years old, with her mother, heard about me doing sedation. And I walk in a room, and I see her in the room before I even walk in the room. And she is actually, she was exhibiting behavior. Nobody was in the room with her, as if she had Tourette's syndrome, and she didn't. That's how freaked out she was about being in a dental office, sobbing hysterically. Nobody was in the room with her even. When I walked in the room, it took a lot just to speak to her. And I gave it my best, but I knew from the beginning, and I don't know this very often, that she was not a candidate for oral sedation. That's an IV sedation patient. So let it be clear, I've never said it's 100%, but who cares? If it was 90%, it's a practice changer, for sure. Anyway, I'm out of my time for this week. When you tune in next week, I'm going to go right into this continuation, and maybe some weeks after, about things I would change if I started over next Monday. And just to recap, the things I changed this week is I started on purpose with your personal life. Because who cares about anything? Why would you listen to me for 30 episodes and take courses all over the country if you're on the straight road to divorce? Because and even worse than that, I know I dare to say that, you miss out on the most precious time. Let me tell you something, I'm 64 years old. I missed a lot of my children growing up. And it almost makes me cry. And we have a tight relationship, and they love their dad, but I could have been more. They would say I was great. I was okay. Anyway, I hope you resonate with these little tips I'm giving you. Next week we'll get right into more of what other things would I do? What would I do? We'll talk about how to get out of network patients. I mean, some specific things. How to get out of network patients. Like you all asked me, how do I get them? How do I get paid up front? I mean, that's a game. That's something I would do if I'm you. If you're not doing it now, some of these things I would do absolutely the same way. I just didn't do them soon enough. Anyway, you guys have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week on The Lionhearted.